Okay. Welcome, everyone. Before I start the introduction, I'm going to go through a couple of formalities. Are there any apologies or substitutions? Cornelia, no?
No, there are none, Chair.
Okay. Any declaration of interest? Councillor Baklini, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Chair, thank you. I just want to clarify a point. I do live a couple of streets away from the premises.
Okay, that's fine. You are not a ward councillor, so that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Well, again, welcome everyone to this hearing. My name is Councillor Munir Ahmed, and I shall be chairing the meeting. My colleagues, Councillor Rima Baklini, Councillor John Ball, and I comprise today's subcommittee. Cornelia Harding, who is the clerk to the subcommittee, will be minuting the meeting. Alison Luff is the legal advisor to the subcommittee. In accordance with the procedure, I shall invite the applicant to present the application, answer any questions, and call any witnesses. And then invite those who have made representations, objections, to make their representations, answer any questions, and call any witnesses. At the conclusion of the hearing, the subcommittee, accompanied by the legal advisor and the committee democratic services officer, will retire to consider its decision. The decision will be given at the end of the meeting, hopefully approximately at 1:30 p.m. today, depending on how we get on with it, and confirmed in writing within 5 working days. If the panel cannot reach a decision today, you will be notified in writing within 5 working days of the panel decision. Now, before I present the report, I would like everyone to introduce themselves for record. Can the officers introduce themselves first? Your microphone, Matthews.
Sorry. Thank you, Chair. My name is Mateusz, and I'm the case noise and nuisance officer looking after Acton cluster.
Okay. There is Nora Jamut.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Noria Moot. I am one of the team leaders in the Safer Communities and Noise Nuisance team, and I cover the Acton area.
And there's also someone called Gurpreet.
She's our student who's Chair, who's just observing for the day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can the applicant and agent introduce themselves, please?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Noel Anthony Samaru. I'm the agent on behalf of Elite Lounge Limited, and I'm here this morning with the director of that company and the operator.
Good morning. My name is Akmal Jabori. I'm the R&D operator, director of the company.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you will have all received or seen the agenda pack within which is contained the licensing officer's report with details of the application in section 1. To confirm, we are dealing with the application for a premises license made by Elite Lounge Limited relating to Elite Restaurant, 860A Coronation Road, Park Royal, NW10 7PS. We note there have been written representations objecting to the application from a responsible authority and from one interested party. I have been informed that the interested party will not be present at this hearing, and their written representation will be considered by the subcommittee nonetheless. So without further ado, I will be asking the applicant to present their application, please.
Yes, good morning, everybody. This application is not maybe as straightforward as you would previously have expected. Hence, we submitted for you some information to try and stop us repeating ourselves and going over old ground, which I just want to confirm that the committee had received.
we have received the agenda pack and we have received further information last night.
Thank you very much. And I do apologise for it being submitted so late.
That's okay.
Yes, this application is for, as you quite rightly said, Chair, for a restaurant. And I have to, and I really want to impress it, it is not a shisha lounge, alcohol-led venue whatsoever. In fact, it's been conditioned very heavily to show you that. This is a venue that is really there to supply the needs of the very diverse community that you have in England. It is a banqueting suite that hosts weddings, birthday parties, family events, and I think you've had some photographs to show that it is set up as that type of venue. Generally, different communities within Ealing like to go to a place, especially if it's a family-orientated business, where they can have their own type of music, they can eat their own type of food, and mix with the people from their community, especially when it comes to family-orientated events like weddings. The application was put together in conjunction with the licensing police. We are aware that there were some issues at the very beginning when Elite opened. However, we have emphasised on a number of occasions that some of the things that were put at the front door of Elite have never been the situation. They've never had the sort of people that would have balloons and drugs and street drinking and crowds formulating. So the application before you is for what we consider to be reasonable hours. The closing time is set, I think, 1 hour after licence or activity ceases, which the police requested as a sort of quieten down time. So we had a gradual dispersal from the premises. So the alcohol is ceased at 1 o'clock, the music and entertainment is 2 o'clock, and the premises closes at 2:30. The conditions that you have under the operating schedule was put together with many consultations with James at the police and environmental health. And it is a very robust operating schedule, because we are extremely aware that Elite is in an area where you have had difficulties with so-called shisha bars that are unlicensed and operate till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and can cause antisocial behaviour. This is not what Elite is about. We want to show you that Elite can be a real asset to that area. And there is a need for a good venue that's well fitted and well catered for different parts of the community to have their family events. So the operating schedule is not something we just put together on a willy-nilly basis. It was something we put together through a lot of consultation with the police. And that's why the application was put before you. There was an application prior to this, as you're probably aware, that was withdrawn. That application was submitted by a previous agent that I don't really think they really understood what was trying to be achieved by the management. One of the other things that I would like to take into consideration with this application is that the management and the DPS of this premises has gone, completely changed. And again, that was a recommendation made by James at police. So this is a new application that has been put before you that we would like you to consider with the operating schedule that's quite robust that's attached to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, I don't see any other witness that you have, but as a formality, I need to ask you if you have any witness.
We don't have any witnesses, but there are within the documents that we sent you, things like the noise reports, the fire risk assessment, that are all done by independent, proven companies. So that was for you to consider. And I appreciate it was quite late that it was sent to you, but the licensing authority have had these documents for quite some time.
Okay, thank you. Questions. Now, officers, do you have any questions at this stage? You will have your time to present yourself, but at this stage, if you want any clarification or any question, you can do so.
I don't have any questions at this stage.
Okay, thank you. My colleagues, do you have any questions? Councillor Baklini, yes?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, actually, I have a question to Mr. Samaru regarding the aim of the premises. I heard that you said that the premises will be open for family events and
Yes,
birthdays and weddings.
yes.
Can you elaborate on this one? So
Well,
it will not
yes,
be for any person entering the premises?
So the question is it a venue that is only for events,
Parties and weddings.
or is it a restaurant or an open public venue?
basically, we take bookings for weddings, wakes, family events, birthday parties, whatever it may be. They are pre-booked in advance. We have taken bookings now up until, I think, the beginning of June for the weekends for weddings, mostly for Asian weddings. As you can see, the hall is very elaborate and it is an ideal venue, and we've designed it around that. On Saturdays, it is open as a restaurant where people can walk in, but people tend, because of the location, people don't tend to drive all the way there and then find either it's not open or whatever. So it does tend to be booked in advance. So people phone up, book a table for 4 people for dinner. It has a full restaurant menu, very nice kitchen, very nice food. So answer the councillor's question. So yes, so it's councillors both. If it's booked on a Saturday night, pre-booked in advance, then no, it's just private events. If it's not booked, then people can come in and have a dinner.
So it's not a pre-book only venue.
Not only, it's not
Okay.
exclusive. Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Baklini, any other question?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I've got an extra question for Mr. Samaru regarding shisha.
Mhm.
You just mentioned that it is not a shisha lounge. It
No.
is a well, now you just said it's a restaurant.
Yeah.
Can I get confirmation from the premises manager or owner next to you to confirm that there will not be any sale or offering of shisha in the restaurant?
Councillor, just before he answers that, in the operating schedule you had before you, one of the conditions that when we spoke to James at the police, because he said, look, everybody says that. Everybody does things. Everybody says they're not going to sell alcohol and they hide it under the stairs and this sort of thing. So what he wanted us to do was actually condition the license. And there's a condition, 2 conditions on the license. That A, no form of shisha or any type of smoking will take place on the premises. And the second thing was that no shisha paraphernalia is allowed on the premises. So no shisha pipes, the charcoal coal things. I'm not a shisha smoker, so I don't understand. No coals, no tobaccos or anything like that are actually allowed on the premises. Full stop.
So Mr. Samaru is actually offering this as a condition.
Yes,
Yes.
it's on the operating schedule as a condition.
Yes, I've read it, but I just wanted to make
Oh, sure. Okay.
I want a confirmation from the premises owner
yeah.
that there will not be any offering of shisha from, let's say, today to the unforeseeable future.
Yes, Councillor. Basically, shishas, as maybe most of you know, okay. Yeah, we talked with Mr. James Bathill.
Can you come a bit forward so that we can hear you properly?
Yeah, sorry. There will be no charcoal shisha. No charcoal shisha. Might be vape when people on thing. Okay, and this is the schedule, and you can actually go back to Mr. James Bradshaw, and he will tell you that's only on demand. We're not going to offer it, right? So, if people want, then there is. After all, it's a business. A charcoal shisha, there will be no charcoal shisha. There will be no tobacco or whatsoever. It's already been set with in your presence. with the police and environmental, Mary from the environmental department, and of course, Iceland Police, James Bradshaw, Mr. James.
Alison,
Yes, Chair.
are we able to put that as a condition? There'll be no smoking.
It's all. I think it's already been offered up as a condition, so that will be fine. Obviously, as you're very well aware, shisha is not licensable, but I think it's reasonable as a condition to say that everywhere that's within the control of the operator should be a smoke-free area. If someone chooses to vape on the or smoke on the pavement outside, then obviously that's not something that can be controlled. But in principle, yes, that we can put a condition on to that effect.
Thank you. Any further question, Rima? Yes, please feel free.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ask as many questions as you want.
Yeah, I just wanted to, if Mr. Samaru can elaborate more on this point. I just read the pack and it stated that there will not be any consuming of alcohol in place for vertical drinking on the premises. Can you please tell me what are the strategies that the premises will be doing to prevent such
basically, Councillor, I know it's a very strange thing, vertical drinking, and it's a weird way to obviously it means people drinking standing up. There's no bar service at the venue, so people cannot go to a bar and buy drinks and drink it at a bar like a pub. All the alcohol is served by waiter or waitress only to a table, and people are not allowed to stand up and drink in the venue like you would if it was a pub or a bar. I also would like to add that alcohol is only served to people who are enjoying a full restaurant-type table meal, which doesn't include snacks and finger food. It has to be a table meal. So it's a restaurant condition.
Any more questions, Councillor Buckley?
Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Matthews, did you raise your hand as well?
Yes, I just wanted also ask the question about the shisha. Mr. Akram mentioned that there is not going to be charcoal shisha on the premises. What about the electronic shisha or like the vapes? Is it going to be allowed using such devices inside the premises?
Akram, can you answer this question?
Thank you.
After consultation with the licensed police, Mr. James Bradshaw allowed us, okay, and that will be presented in the restaurant days, basically, and if basically it's on demand if someone wanted it. Unfortunately, it's the culture, but we're trying to go healthier. So instead of like charcoal shisha, we're offering our clients, basically our customers, there. Right?
Yeah, Matthews, he's actually allowing vapes, but not shisha.
And that's
okay, thank you very much.
Consultation with James Bradshaw.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Any more questions from Matthews?
Not from myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Ball, over to you, please.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. So really following on from Councillor Buckley's first question about the way the operation works, I see that the application is for a license 7 days a week, but what you're saying is that it would really only be open as a restaurant on Saturdays, and the rest of the time is for pre-booked events. Would you envisage it only being open for kind of a certain number of days in a week, or would you envisage it being open for 7 days a week in practice?
It's a very, very good question, Councillor. As a new business, obviously they're trying to grow the business. They don't envisage any late night events during the week, hence however, they want to leave the book open so that if somebody was to book an event midweek, they can supply it. But generally, no. At the moment, all the bookings are coming in on Friday, Saturdays. And the rest of the time it is open as a restaurant.
Well, hang on. I thought you were saying it's only open as a restaurant for individual bookings on Saturdays. Is it?
No. On Saturdays, it's a restaurant. For weddings and everything else, it's Fridays, Sundays, Saturdays. It just depends on when the bookings come in. I mean, business is tough out there for them at the moment. So if someone was to phone up and say, right, we want to book our wedding reception on a Saturday, they would close the restaurant. No, it's a private event, and they would have it open on the Saturday, and that would be advertised as it was a Friday. They would do it. Now, generally, these bookings come in about a month in advance, so they're aware when they have availability for it to be a restaurant, and they have times when no, the restaurant is closed and it's a private event.
Yeah, I see. I mean, so, I mean, would it be? Would you accept a condition that restricted like the number of days in a week that it's open, or you know, something like that for it to be open? So potentially it could be open any day of the week, but there could be kind of maybe a restriction on the number of days in any week that it's open, or something like that.
Can I just speak with my client just for a sec? Let me just clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. What my client is saying is during the week time, the weekdays, 11 o'clock is sufficient. We wouldn't really want to restrict the license to certain days, but we are happy to restrict the license to certain hours on certain days. So that if we had, I think it's Monday to Thursday to 11 or 12, and then the later events, which are the weddings and things on the weekend, are slightly later. So I don't know if that gives some comfort and answers the councillor's question.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I've also got a couple of questions. First one is on the soundproofing. You have sent a video of the door, but you haven't sent the video of any walls.
All the soundproofing was done prior to the soundproof. The whole building was done.
Okay,
The reason I said that with the door only wasn't to hide anything. It was just that in Mateus's representation, he mentioned about having an acoustic lobby. But there was already one there, and it was built back in December. And it's also not only acoustic lobby, it's actually fitted with acoustic foam as well. And that was very much to the fact that, you know, they were aware that there was some sound leakage back before June, and that was identified. And so that's when they refurbed the premises, soundproofed the whole premise, and fitted the acoustic lobby. I do have to say, though, an acoustic lobby only works if the doors are closed. And there was on one occasion the doors were left open.
Okay. My second question is the timing. I've seen in the report somewhere it says you are not opening in the daytime.
That's right.
But the license you are asking is from the morning. So if we were to restrict it only to evening, would that be okay?
I would ask the question that all the restaurants at Ealing probably have a license from 9, 10 or 11 in the morning.
I'm only talking about what the report says. You have said in your report that we are not opening in the day. So if we took that and accepted that you are not opening, then
we don't open at council. We don't open. That's a fact.
So if you don't open, then you don't need those hours.
Again, let me just.
You can talk to him,
please.
Yes. Basically, I just wanted to leave the door open.
You can switch off your mic if you want to.
That's okay.
No, I'm talking to basically.
Okay, then come forward and speak, please.
Right. After all, it's a business, right? So I'm leaving the door open in case if we get like any events for like birthday for younger kids. Like basically, you're not gonna have a birthday 9 o'clock in the evening or 7 o'clock for like kids or something, basically. But weekdays, we can start from 3. Yeah. Of course, like staff and what have you can be present at the premises anytime they want, but it's not going to be like an event or something. Weekdays, Monday to Thursday, we can start from 3 p.m. Yeah, we don't need morning time.
So,
So
yeah,
if we were to
basically we can work around the hours.
Yeah.
so if we were to give you from 3 to 11 weekdays, for you,
That's
that
fine.
would be fine.
Can we push it, council, please, until midnight?
But it's not in the application. So
Midnight.
no.
Our application until midnight.
Also,
Until midnight, it's only 1 hour, right? And you see all the private like weddings and what have you, people tend to leave around 10:30, and this from experience, 10:30, 11 o'clock. However, I don't want to restrict the business just in case if one wedding decided to stay until 11:30, I don't want to be in a situation with the authorities that, oh, we exceeded our time. Okay. As I explained, we have CCTVs and they can check.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Rima, can I take Noura first? Yeah, you've got a question, Noura?
Hi, yeah. So my question is around
Can you stay near the mic, please?
Apologies, my mic
Yeah,
was actually not close to my face.
That's much better.
Sorry about that. So my question is around when there is an event, whether it's private or not, and there is some sort of regulated entertainment, we've seen in the past live musicians, how exactly will the loud amplified music be controlled and monitored in such a way that it doesn't cause a nuisance to the public or other sensitive amenities in the wider area? And you also mentioned that there is soundproofing, which I guess is one of those ways that the sound will be monitored. But could you just explain or describe what kind of soundproofing you currently have in place and how it's been tested to be effective?
Well, yes, we can, but that is all in the report, and it was tested by an independent acoustics company. I think the difficulty, Nora, is that we asked, I think on 3 occasions, for the noise control team to send somebody along when the sound system was being tested so that the sound levels could be set. The system is fitted with a cutout sound limiter. So if the sound goes above a certain decibel, it cuts out the whole system. The difficulty is we wanted the council there so we could set this with the council and say, okay, this is the level that's been set. That's it. The level I think was set at on how many decibels? 90 decibels on the inside. Yeah. I think the limit has been set at 90. It may need to be set at 85, but we don't know until the council comes along and says, okay, this is what is acceptable when it's tested. So we had an independent company come along. They did their survey. They set the limiter, and they did a survey based upon 50 yards away, 100 yards away, in front of the premises, at the back of the premises. And that's how they came up with the limiter that's been set.
Okay. You want more? You have more questions?
Yes, please. Sorry, just on the back of that. So there's the sound limiter, but also in terms of management of the premises, and I suppose the human side of things, how will staff be making sure, in addition to the sound limiter, that there isn't going to be any nuisance caused? And just to come back on what Noel said about requests to the council. I think from speaking with Matthias, and I'll ask him to confirm, but there was only one request and it was very short notice and Matthias wasn't available, but I will let him comment on that as the officer directly involved in the case. I do have other questions, but I think I'll pause for now.
Okay, well, if you're not asking any question, then
I'll take my hand down.
We may move later on to your presentation. So it's okay now. Matthew, you can ask question, and then I'll go to Councillor Baklini.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so well, actually, I would like to here refer to the sound to the noise assessment that has been produced by the Elite. I obviously understand that we talk about the second noise assessment that has been sent
Yes,
to us, as
right.
there was 2 noise assessments that we have received. The first one, however, it wasn't really relevant. It didn't include crucial things like the necessary data, the methodology itself, and it hasn't been also prepared by a qualified person in what I mean, the acoustician. Indeed, the second noise assessment is which has been prepared by the independent acoustic consultancy, is something that we have reviewed, and also we really appreciate. That was also the reason why we have agreed to let the further 10 applications to run in order to check how the business operates and if it's going to meet the licensing requirements. Therefore, we allowed to for tens.
Is there a question, or you are presenting your report?
Yes, it's a presentation. However, I just okay. Maybe I come back to that later.
Yeah, you come
Sorry.
back to that. Hold on to that at the moment. Let my colleagues ask questions. Rima?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Samaru, what's the maximum capacity in the premises? Just to confirm numbers.
I don't think there was a maximum capacity set.
Can you give us guidance?
Where would you say 250?
250?
Yeah, maximum. Yeah.
Maximum.
No.
Maximum 600.
150 maximum seated.
Seated 150. And what's your available, what are the parking availabilities outside for
I appreciate the question, Councillor, but as you're aware, parking doesn't really come under the Act, as you know. However, there is parking, private parking within Elite at the front, and there is parking out in the street.
Parking on the street?
Oh, your neighbours and his neighbour allows people to park.
As far as I know, there are no parking available near Elite. Public parking available. I've seen a lot of yellow lines and on the main road.
2 neighbours basically allowed us to use their parking spaces because all the businesses they close at 5.
How many parking?
We have basically 25 cars at 859, and we have across the road and the thing we just made a deal with them. It takes about another 20 to 25 cars.
About 50 cars.
Yeah, 56 exactly.
Outside the restaurant, it's about 20 cars.
56 cars, 25 with his neighbour, who allows him to use his parking area when they're not there. And across the road, there's another neighbour that allows them to use their parking as well.
And we also have a warden. That's in the condition.
Yes, I've read that you will employ a warden to control outside.
When you say your neighbor has allowed you, sorry, when you say your neighbor has allowed you, they might have their own usage as well.
Yeah.
So
they're a 9 to 5 business council, so they close. I think they're at the garage. Yeah, so they're not there after 5 o'clock.
Sorry, Chair. Can I just come on this point as well? So other businesses will be allowing you to let your customers park on their premises.
That's right.
And I never seen any physical confirmation. Like, why we didn't get a confirmation on that?
Because we didn't know that parking was going to be a huge issue, to be honest with you. So, but that can be supplied.
The problem is, Mr. Samaru, that parking is actually a great issue in Coronation Road. It's as a resident in a close vicinity from the premises, it's even like a disastrous problem. where drivers cannot access the street because of blocked cars on both sides at night. And it's almost a daily occurrence. So this is why I am really interested in knowing how you are going to manage 250 people parking,
150.
especially at weddings and if, like, you've got lots of events happening, which is an attraction to more than 100 people, let's say.
Okay, so not everybody drives their own cars there, Councillor. A lot of people that are going to come to an event will get a taxi. We provide the local taxi service details for people, so when they're leaving, they
Yes,
can
but I have never seen any premises in Coronation Road at night without a huge amount of cars on both sides outside the premises. So
you would agree, though, then, Kaz, it's not just elites, because there are 3 or 4 businesses up there that we've sent you evidence of people parking not outside elite, because they're not elite customers, that are illegal premises that are blocked. I don't know if they're blocking the road, but they're parked both sides on double yellow line. So I agree. But as I said, management have taken steps to arrange parking as best they can for up to 50 cars. Now, 50 cars, if we had only 2 people in a car, that's 100 people. Other people are going to come by maybe public transport or their own taxis. So at the moment, I think it's pretty much adequate for 150 people that they've got 50 parking spaces available, plus the parking spaces available.
About the other premises that will let you use their parking spaces. I noticed from the video that you've shared with us, right next to your premises, it's a warehouse, and there's like lorries using the side.
Yeah, that's to the right-hand side. To the left-hand side, to the left-hand side is the neighbour that 889, 859. That allows 859. That allows them to use the parking spaces that they have.
859 has 25 parking spaces allocated for the use of your customers. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
If Mr. Samaru, if we needed a proof of this agreement with your neighbor, would you be able to provide a signed agreement that you are allowed to use their 50 car spaces?
25 on one and 56 on the other. Yeah. You can get them to write your letter.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
you can get an agreement.
Definitely. Yeah.
No one, to be honest, asked that before. Otherwise, I would have actually voted here now today.
Sorry,
he said he hasn't been asked for it before, but if he had been, we would have presented it to you today. But that can be supplied, definitely.
Okay. Councillor Ball?
Yeah, so following on from that, would it be possible for us to condition that? So for us to condition that there was a agreement in place to provide.
He's agreeing to that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So the question I was going to ask was in the operating schedule. So on page 36 of our pack, sort of clauses 5 and 6 of that talk about door supervisors, and the numbers don't match. You've got the numbers in words don't match the numbers in numbers. So you've got 2 brackets 3 in clause 5, and you've got 1 brackets 2 in clause 6.
So it's a bit of
we're going to they're typo. So we assume the larger numbers apply. Do we the 3 and 2?
Yeah, 3 and 2. 2 during when we close earlier, I think during the week. If the restaurant's open, I think we actually wanted 1. And none if there was if it closed at 11 o'clock, we didn't really feel that a door supervisor was necessary. But on the event nights, it was 2. Should have been 2.
So okay, so you're saying the lower numbers then. So 2 in clause 5 and 1 in clause 6.
Yeah, so it should be 2.
You're saying so 2 in clause 5 and 1 in clause 6. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, clause 6 is where they're closed earlier, is it not?
Yeah, Sunday to Thursday. Well, in fact, it says when the terminal hours are beyond midnight. Well, okay, so I see. So it's not the alcohol. Yeah, so the terminal hour is still beyond midnight, isn't it, in the application? Yeah, okay. Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Nora, you've got a question?
Yes, thank you, Chair. It was just about going back to the parking issue. Are they able just to describe specifically where those parking spaces are located?
So what we have decided is that if we are going to grant the license, there will be a condition that they will have a signed agreement with the neighbor to provide those 50 places, parking spaces.
I
with
understand that.
two neighbors or one, whatever, but at least 50.
Yeah,
Yeah,
understood. That's fine. It's just I'm just going back to the location itself. I don't recall there being that many parking spaces owned or controlled by the neighbouring business or along Coronation Road. So I'm just wondering where exactly those parking spaces would be.
Yeah, Mr. Akram, where are they?
Just before we do move on, can I ask your legal advisor a question here? Because we seem to be going down a bit of a rabbit hole. Because I am very aware that under the 2000 license, parking doesn't come under the Act. Now, I appreciate that if cars are being parked in the street and blocking and causing a nuisance, then that's a slightly different issue. But we're talking about now parking spaces and not. So if you could just maybe consult.
Okay, before I go to the legal advisor, this is something that the committee wants to know.
Yeah.
Whether you have it or not, that is your decision. So the committee is asking a question.
Yeah.
So you answer the question. If you have, you answer. If you don't have, you don't answer. It's up to you. There's no need to find the legality.
Does our neighbour allow us to park 25 cars on their parking area, and do they have availability to park 25 cars and do? The answer is yes. Whether we would agree to a condition, because that condition would then be subject to all sorts of things. What we would agree to is the license be granted, hopefully, subject to that document being supplied. But actually,
so you need to clarify, are you agreeing to the condition or not?
We're not agreeing to the condition being
fine.
But we are, to be helpful, Councillor, what we are saying is that because it is a concern, we will have it, the license would be granted subject to you having us having an agreement in place from our neighbour.
But the committee has noted. So the question was whether you would agree to have a signed agreement.
Yes, we would.
You are saying no.
No,
so
we're saying
the committee
yes,
has noted that,
but not condition the license to it, because that makes it very, very difficult. You know.
Okay, the committee has.
Can I just go back to the question? The question was really around where specifically those spaces are, and also I feel it does relate to public safety. Yep.
Okay, Mr. Akram wants to address it.
Sorry, Nora, have you read the traffic assessments report that we provided long time ago, and even I think with the application?
I have not seen any traffic assessment reports that you provided.
We have traffic assessments report in place that we provided to the authority or relevant authorities before, and in that report, basically, it shows where and how. However, I don't know if you're sitting on your desk, if you go to Google Maps and you go to Elite, as if you look at Elite, on the right, there is number 859. I don't want to mention the business name and what have you, but the gentleman, I'm not going to mention name now, basically allowed us, and he even gave us the keys for his small short posts, you know, to use his alleyway and the front car park, which actually we are using for the last few weeks.
Okay, but do you realize that when Matthews come to his report, there will be an issue about the parking, and as you are not agreeing to a sign agreement, it is something, you know, which is of concern, which
Councillor,
will come up later.
Councillor, we are agreeing to it, but we just don't think it should be added as a condition on a license. There must be, again, maybe something to speak to your legal advisor about. There must be a way that the license should be granted subject to you seeing a signed agreement. But to have it actually put on the license, supposing our neighbour moves or changes address.
Yeah, so that is the question I'll be asking you.
Yes, I know, but that's why it would be very unfair for us to have our license conditioned by because of somebody else.
So the committee will be considering
have that in place.
So the committee will be considering the application as there is no parking.
No, I don't think that's fair. I think there is going to be parking, and we will supply you a signed agreement from the neighbour.
Okay, point noted. Point noted. That's fine. I don't see any other hand. Yes, Alison?
Chair, I was just going to Noel's quite right. Obviously, parking per se is not a licensable activity, but if there is a direct connection between the use of the premises and parking impact, then I think you are entitled to put that in the mix when you're considering the application. In terms of a condition, I think it would be very difficult to enforce, because unless somebody's going to actually check who's parking there, it's going to be quite difficult to say, yes, this is an elite customer, this is a customer from one of the other businesses that's operating. So I think there will be difficulties, but I think it's something that you can consider when you're assessing what the likely impact of granting a license is going to be on the surrounding area.
The committee is fully aware of that, Alison, and that's the reason I was not inviting you to comment, because the committee is only considering the impact of the 150 customers if they are coming by cars. So I know, but the committee was trying to find out whether the applicant has some sort of parking where they can accommodate their customers, but that's fine. The committee has noted that.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands. If there is no other question, then I will move on to the officer's report. The responsible authority report. So I invite now the responsible authority to present their side of the case. Matthews?
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. My name is Mateusz, and as I introduce myself, I'm the case officer for noise and nuisance in the Acton cluster. I have submitted the representation against the new premises license due to the historical issues with the business, which was operating without necessary license, including the activities such as loud amplified music, live music, selling alcohol. The area also the premises wish to operate, the Coronation Road, is an industrial part of the Park Royal, and issues relating to antisocial behavior, noise and crime has been a long-standing issue caused by presence of unlicensed premises providing live entertainment. During the summer 2023, the Elite continue operating and providing live entertainment despite late tenant's refusal. And let me just go back to some of the reports from the summer 2023. Well, so here during the joint operation, Save the Communities Smoke Free on 10th of June 2023, Elite Lounge was one of several venues visited in this locality. The management were argumentative and passive-aggressive in their interaction with us and wanted to usher us off the premises. They would not engage constructively with us until we managed to separate the two staff members and explained to them regulations around licensing evening. Although
which date was that? Which date was that?
It was 10th of June 2023.
Okay, thank you.
Although it may seem that they have complied with advice given on the 10th of June and submitted applications, they clearly resume with their business activities without the proper license in place. On 22nd July 2023, late then refused. Officers could hear amplified music coming from subject from street level. The music sounded like live Arabic singing songs. Officers could see customers arriving and leaving the premises. While officers were in the patrol of a vehicle, they were approached by the owner of the premises. He claimed to be harassed by officers. Officers advised that they are on the public highway and that he approached officers. Subject alleged that officers has been on his property snooping around. Officers officers advised that the approach he spoke about earlier this evening to take a photo of the licensing blue poster. Officers advised subject that he was well aware of why officers were there at the time, as he asked if the poster was okay when officers were taking the photo. Subject was then calmed down and pulled away from the vehicle by one of his friends. Subject kept the front doors to the premises shut and the music played constantly inside. Officers departed the location at 2:13 a.m. and 23rd July 2023, officers arrived at the location at 1 a.m. As officers arrived, they could see a number of people stood outside the premises. Officers could hear loud music playing from within the premises. Officers see cars being directed to park directly outside the premises. Shortly after officers arrived, the music was switched off or turned down significantly so that it was no longer audible. Officers stood under the bus shelter directly opposite SAP. A man from outside the premises came across the road and stood beside officers. Officers heard the music come back on and then off again. Officers patrolled the street and the rear of the premises. The music seemed to remain off. Officers returned to the bus shelter. A different man from the subject location then came to join officers and stood closely beside them. The illuminated signage at the premises was then switched off and the doors were kept shut. The doors were opened for customers to enter but were promptly shut again. The subject had a number of people on lookouts and the music would come on when officers were away from the premises and back off as they approach. SAP had people stood along the street keeping an eye on officers from a distance. Officers could see customers continue to arrive and be allowed into the premises. Officers departed the location at 1:42 with no audible music from the street level. Then officers returned to subject locations at 2:13. The illuminated sign was switched off and the doors were shut. The time there were no people gathering outside. Officers, however, could hear loud amplified music and live Arabic singing coming from the premises. The music was audible from street level at the front of the premises and significantly louder from behind it. Yes, I can also see that in the statement that has been provided by the elite last evening, you have mentioned that elite management have not had a shift in the approach, and it was always maintained an open door policy and have always been willing to work and cooperate with all of the local authorities. Well, in my opinion, indeed, there was a change in the approach following the examples that I just mentioned. The change in the approach I personally take as something positive, as a good thing. This is definitely something that we have taken into the account when allowing for this 10th applications to go for December. How I said, like the beginning of the cooperation between elite and the local authorities was difficult at the beginning, and we have noticed the change in the approach by providing us documentations also, such as noise assessments, which suggest that the premises meet the licensing requirements. yes, some of the documentations were relevant, some of them not. However, I just refer here to the noise assessment prepared by the acoustic consultancy company, which specified a few strategic points which potentially could be affected with the loud music. During the proactive visits, we also have scheduled proactive visits for once we approved the 10 applications. So we have scheduled 15 proactive visits between 8th December and 3rd February. However, on 6 occasions, that instances of music that would be heard from the street has been witnessed, with 2 particular incidents which were extremely bad on the 13th and 14th January. In most of the other cases, the premises seems to be closed. Well, on 17 January 2024, I have contacted the owner to discuss the issues of excessive loud music. Which, in my opinion, also proved the willingness of this department to cooperate with the premises. The proactive visit showed us that there is a still issue with the noise pollution, and the noise pollution control, and that's something that we believe needs to be improved. On the 3rd of February, the proactive visit has been performed by myself. And I have noted that the music began audible approximately 150 meters away from the premises in both directions of the Coronation Road. I have also assessed the noise from the Travelodge, which is based next to the A40 road. And that's also been mentioned on the noise assessment report as one of the sensitivity location. I have parked my car at the Travelodge rear car park, which is exactly below the rear facade of the building. Despite the busy A40 road, the low frequency music was still audible there. And how I say, like, even A40 traffic hasn't covered that music. The music still could be heard from that point. Why it might not be a big problem in this time of the year, I believe that it's something that can become problematic when the weather improves and when the hotel's guests, for example, open the windows to ventilate the rooms, etc. Yes, well, about the complaints, well, something that we cannot share openly due to GDPR rules. Recently, however, we have been contacted by one local business that raised concerns about the premises license application, mentioning issues with loud amplified music, parking obstructions that had a negative impact on the image and operation of their business. The business has also submitted the representation but wanted to stay anonymous and decided not to attend today's hearing, worrying about potential repercussions. Also on 14 February, I had a call with Mr. Akram, the owner, who had requested the evidence of the noise witnessed during the proactive visit. I have provided those on the 15 February, along with our proposal of the conditions on the premises license that our department would be satisfied with. This included the limited operational hours. However, we mentioned that this is the subject for the extension in the improvements definitively once if you would be satisfied that there is no issues with the noise pollution control. However, we haven't. Mr. Akram agreed to review it, but unfortunately, we have not received any further correspondence until today's day. Yes, I would say, like, we open to cooperate with the elite. However, at this point, there is still problem with the noise control, with the noise pollution control, and that's something that needs to be addressed.
Okay, thank you. You said you were proposing some conditions.
Yes.
Can you elaborate those conditions?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So in terms of the operational times, we have suggested Sunday to Thursday from 11 a.m. till 11 p.m.
Sunday to Thursday, 11 to
11 a.m. till 11 p.m.
Well, they are okay from 3, so 3 p.m. to 11, you said?
Yes, 11 p.m.
11, okay.
With the proposed times for supply of alcohol until 10:30.
Alcohol
So
until 10:30, yeah.
Same time for the regulated entertainment and late night refreshments.
Regulated entertainment, okay.
And also for Friday and Saturday, proposed opening times was until 11:30, 11:30 p.m.
11:30.
With proposed times for supply of alcohol, regulated entertainment, and late night refreshments until 11 p.m.
Okay.
And
okay. Yeah.
Also, as a additional conditions to the license, we ask to take all reasonable steps to ensure that noise is not audible at sensitive locations such as dwellings, hospital, hotels, and other business premises. Here also, what I have on my mind is, for example, the Travelodge Hotel.
Okay.
This can be done by carrying out regular monitoring checks to ensure noise is being adequately controlled.
Okay.
Noise does not cause unreasonable disturbance to the wider public, such as passers-by and people using public facilities. Another conditions that we have added is use as sound lobby with 2 sets of self-closing doors, which I believe is already has been already implemented.
So I'm not adding that then. I'm not adding that because it's already been. Okay.
And keep speakers within the premises and do not position them near the openings such as doors or windows.
Speakers direction. Okay.
And also that there is adequate sound isolation and sound limiting devices installed if the sound limiting equipment is malfunctioned. Amplified music should not be played. And that all staff.
What you mean? Sorry, can you elaborate that one? The amplified music.
Yes. So here we what I think is like, for example, if the sound limiter is malfunctions, is faulty, then we would require not to play the loud amplified music or live music.
Okay.
Because there is no control of the music being played.
Yeah. Okay.
And finally, that all staff, DJs, and artists understand your noise control requirements and ensure that staff monitor that the volume of amplified music adheres to the conditions set above.
Okay. Is that all?
That's it, yes.
Okay, thank you. That's very comprehensive. Now, obviously, there is a opportunity to ask questions. So I will invite the applicant to ask any questions.
Thank you, Chair.
When you're asking questions, you've heard the conditions. So
I want to ask Matthias that is he aware that under the licensing act up until 11 o'clock, most of the things that he suggested are unregulated anyway. They've been deregulated for some time. So actually not being offered anything at all except for half an hour on a Saturday, which is totally unacceptable. I wanted to ask Matthias, why is it that each time we speak to Matthias, he goes on about things that happened almost a year ago? And I mentioned, Councillor, my first thing, that we've been consulting with the police since June. All the previous things, we got rid of the old management, all of these suggestions that Elite has been operating outside of all these things are absolutely very old history. Matthias was kind enough to say that, yes, we are now a business that is working with the is working with the police, who are not here today because they've been happy with the way Elite has been operating. Environmental Health, Mary Environmental Health is not here today. The noise control issues are a problem for the noise control team, but it doesn't seem to be a problem from any resident. We've never had a complaint from a resident. We've never had a complaint from the Travelodge. I appreciate that the noise control team are trying to be proactive, but I think that the conditions they're offering are a step too far. So, Matthias, I want to know how you came up with 11 o'clock. Because I know there are premises in Ely High Street that operate later than 11 o'clock, and they have residents.
Yeah, so indeed, we have proposed the core e-link hours, which is 11:30 for Friday, 11:30 for Friday to Saturday. How I said, with the possibility of extensions of these hours in the future, once we're going to be satisfied with the noise control. In terms of the complaints, I'm not aware if you have received any complaints from the local residents, but we have, unfortunately, I cannot share this information because I cannot share the information at the hearing, like who raised the complaint.
We don't want to know who. We don't want to know who. We would just like some evidence that somebody has actually done a written complaint about noise, because we've never seen one.
Of course, if it's required, then it has to be written to the council, so we can provide like a general report with the complaints that our departments, both noise and nuisance, safer community, has received.
I think Akram is saying to me that he has asked you in the past.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Is it?
How are you doing, Matthias? You're right.
Hello, hi.
Hi. Right. We spoke last week, right?
Yes.
And we spoke even on the 17th about the noise. And you saw straight away, I went on it and I invited you for the test. You mentioned in your report, your proactive team made themselves aware to us. None of these incidents, and I told you they did not let us know. And regarding your visit to Travelodge, I told you, I'm on the school. If you picked up the phone and you told me, Akram, you have a line of music, I would have actually turned it down. I wasn't aware, because according to the specialists, basically to the professional people, we don't have any noise pollution. However, I took your word for it. I didn't argue, and I acted on it. Now, with regards to the evidence, I asked you to provide evidence prior to the hearing, so we discussed it. If you remember, that was, I believe, Friday, or no, before Friday, and you told me you're going to provide it by Friday. I told you I want to have the weekend to sit with Mr. Nawal here to discuss it, right? You provided your report with no evidence apart from one photographic evidence, apart from that I provided Nawal in the same evening from the same angle that that photograph was taken, and I proved that these are not our cars, are our basically customers. I deliberately went to that like specific location and I took the picture. Now, I'm still waiting if you have any evidence. I respect the other authorities, and you could say so many people, but without like evidence, like basically if I show you in my the readings.
No, it doesn't matter.
Huh?
Doesn't matter.
Sorry?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, like readings for noise, because every half an hour, the warden checks the noise basically outside, and he sent me, he sends me these readings and what have you. I could forward these because no one basically asked them, but for your own satisfaction, I could actually basically send them to you now or anytime you want. Now, I need like evidence from people too, so that we act on it.
Yeah, basically, Matthias, all we're asking you, if there's a question in here somewhere, is that you put in a representation, but then you spent 10 minutes going on about things that happened back before July, the beginning of the year. You know, we've always accepted that you are a proactive council and you're looking towards small businesses, but this is not the way it appears to us. We are trying everything with us, and you can see we've had reports done. We've put wardens. We've been in consultations, big consultations with the police, yourself, and everybody else has accepted that, yes, we're moving forward. We've reduced the hours. We've put conditions on the license that I don't think anybody else would agree to. so that we can move forward with this. But as soon as you go back to past history, 8 months ago, when Elite first opened, and we just wanted to know why. Why is that relevant today?
So if I can come in the middle, I think you are both talking the same thing. You are happy to make sure that the noise pollution is controlled.
Yes.
And Matthews is also asking the same thing. So I think it's just a matter of implementing the measure. So there is no dispute on that from your side. It's just a matter of implementing. So obviously, if you are implementing a system and issues come later, then obviously, Matthews, that is something to be assessed again. So I think the applicant is not denying that they are happy to implement a system which will control the noise pollution. Is that correct?
Sorry, Councillor, we have it already.
We've done those things already.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. You are happy to implement that.
Absolutely.
So any question that you have?
My question originally was, how did Mathias come up with 11 o'clock? Because 11 o'clock, as Councillor Ball asked earlier, the hours. Now, yes, we agreed, I think 11 o'clock during the week, but at weekends when people want to go for their weddings and things, 11 o'clock, 11:30, it's totally unacceptable.
So basically, instead of 11:30, you are asking for 12.
No, 11:30 during the week is fine. That's fine. It's Fridays and Saturdays when we have the wedding events. That 11:30 is just not practical.
And you have asked for until 12 earlier.
Yes,
no, for Saturday.
weekdays.
Yeah, weekdays, yes.
Yeah, until 12.
Yeah, and
Okay.
weekends.
Weekends, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday. The reason I asked for Sunday, it doesn't happen every day, but I don't want to go over the limits if there are like bank holidays and what have you. Yeah, do you understand, Council?
The application that's before you.
So what are you asking for? Weekends until 12 or for?
No, to 2 o'clock.
2
which has
o'clock.
got all the temporary event notices and what we agreed with the police. However, the regulated entertainment was to stop at 2, and the premises was to be cleared at 2:30, and alcohol was to be ceased at 1.
That's correct.
Which is the applications before you. But 11 o'clock, 11:30 is just.
Okay, so any other question?
No.
To Matthews? Okay, Councillor Ball.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So while recognising that this was 8 months ago, was Mr. Akram Al-Jabouri the applicant for the 10s that were refused on those occasions that events occurred despite the refusal?
No, I think the old DPS was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. There was a chap called Ibrahim, which was the DPS, which, as I mentioned before, was a difficult man to work with. And the police identified that they were having difficulties working with him. His background had come from shisha bars and this sort of thing. And I think he felt that Elite should be the same sort of business. And it created problems. And we haven't denied that, Councillor. But once we sat down with the police, they explained everything to us. They worked through conditions at that. And one of the conditions were that we had to have a change in management if we were to go forward, which Akram embraced. And since then, generally, we've been very happy with the operation. We haven't had any complaints, incidents, or anything. So it was a bit of a surprise to us when Mathias put in his report about noise. Now, there was one night where the doors were left open. And I mentioned that in my report to you.
We've seen that in the report.
Yeah, but apart from that, if the noise is leaking out, low-level noise, we are not aware of it because we do our own sound reports. However, as I said to Mathias, all he needs to do is come there, say to Akram, look, I can hear it, or set the levels a little bit low on the limiter. Help us. We want to comply. Just help us, Mathias. That's all we need.
Okay.
Without allowing us to do something and telling us off for doing it. That's
okay. Councillor Ball, any further question?
So for Mathias, in the operating schedule, the proposal is that the SIA security are dependent on Sunday to Thursday are dependent on the terminal hour being at least midnight. So with your proposed earlier hours, that would mean there wouldn't be security during the week. What's your view on that? Would that be undesirable?
Yes, of course. Well, so when I was making the proposals for the new premises license, the restaurant already applied from 11 o'clock in the morning till 2:30 for Fridays till Saturdays. So basically, the proposals, and I believe that this also going to answer Mr. Knowles and Mr. Akram's questions why I have proposed to stick within the calls hours. My plan was to stick within the calls hours because there was a still problem with the noise pollution control, and if until this is not going to be addressed and resolved, I just believe that the premises shouldn't be operated to late night hours as 2:30, because we have to think about that potentially every weekend or like every night there's going to be a live music being played and until late hours, until 2:30, and if the music is not controlled and the noise is not controlled properly, then it might just make a nuisance to local businesses, to local residents, and also it's important to mention that not only Ealing, there's no Ealing residents that are affected, but also the residents from the brand side.
Yeah, okay. Right. But the specific thing I was asking though was in the operating schedule, it's proposing that there would be SIA security Sunday to Thursday if the terminal hour is beyond midnight. So if the panel was to accept your proposed hours, then there wouldn't be SIA during the week.
No, sorry. Can I just, Councillor, just explain? Basically, the premises is on the first floor. So downstairs, we always had at least one SIA. When we have events or like basically weddings and what have you, we have to, it's just because of the distance between the entrance, like which is ground floor and upstairs. So we need someone which is security, and for the security and basically apart from the warden, yeah, to be present there downstairs, and we'll see people upstairs. This is the practicality of the business. Yeah, you can't just go in and you see no one. There's no way. I mean, at least there's one security, you know, normal operating hours and what have you, right? And then 2 or more, it depends on the event itself. It depends on how many people are attending. Yeah, I have a contract with the security company. I've always told them I need 2, 3, 4. You know, they provide the personnel according to our requirement.
Okay, thank you. That's clarified that. I guess final question, if I may, Chair.
Yes.
Maybe misremembering this, but isn't the on the standard hours alcohol till 11 rather than 10:30?
Okay, it's reducing.
Chair, I think
it was a great question.
Core hours, Eden's core hours are slightly different, depends on the type of business. So the police, when speaking to James, said that our type of business for like late night businesses, the core hours for alcohol was 1 o'clock. Hence, that's why the application says 1. That's what we were told, to keep it within the core hours. For restaurants, yes, I think it's 10:30, close at 11 o'clock. But for late night businesses, he suggested that we wanted to stay open until 2:30. However, he suggested that alcohol stop at 1 and the regulated entertainment should stop at 2. And giving everybody half an hour to disperse from the premises. That's why the application is a bit strange. Alcohol would stop at 1 and music stops at 2 and then we finish at 3. It would normally be where alcohol would stop at 2 o'clock and half an hour drinking up. But that's not how it was suggested to us that the police would prefer to see.
Thank you.
Yes, Alison?
Chair, just on the core hours, there isn't a category for late night premises. The core hours relate to on sales, off sales, and late night refreshment. Just to clarify that point.
Okay, thank you. Matthews, did you have any witness? Was Nora your witness, or she's separate?
Sorry, what was the question?
Is Nora your witness, or you don't have any witness?
No. Well,
No.
Are you asking for the witness at this hearing?
No, not necessarily, unless you have any.
No, I do not.
Nora, did you want to present something, or you were just here as? Nora, are you here? Yeah.
Yep, sorry, just unmuting. So I'm here to support Matthias's representation, just because we work part and parcel together in the same team. But I guess Matthias has already made the representation and made the points that we wanted to cover. Essentially, we're not opposed to the granting of the license, like you've already identified. It's more that the noise is managed appropriately so that there isn't an adverse impact on residents, communities, and of course our service, which is why the conditions that Matthias has recommended have been recommended essentially. I know that Elite and Noel have seem to focus on raised concerns about ASB, but I guess the representation is not based on that. We haven't attributed ASB to Elite specifically, but due to the concerns which have already been mentioned previously about the location, the background, the context, it is something that is at the back of our minds, and we're very keen to avoid that from an environmental health, community safety, and public nuisance perspective. And yeah, I guess that's really the only point that I wanted to make. It's just making sure that there's robust controls around loud amplified music from the venue.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor, can I ask a question, if you don't mind? It's of Matthias. It's regarding conditioning the license. Conditions can be applied to the license to ensure, which would say no amplified music must be audible at 50 yards, 50 feet, or whatever from the venue, and that can be conditioned, and that would be the basis that Elite would have to operate on. So it would give them a benchmark. It would give them the opportunity to sit down with Matthias and say, right, this is what the limit is set to. That's what we have to achieve. As a condition, it has to be enforceable, and that would be a way to do it without totally reducing the hours and giving the business as a non-starting entity after they've already invested thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds into it. It just seems to be that the main concern that Matthias has is potential disturbance to neighbours and the local community. However, as far as we're aware, that has not happened because there's no residents here objecting to the application. But we are really happy to work with Matthias and say, look, condition the license so that we can operate, and then we will obviously give you our utmost to work with you to make sure we work within those conditions.
Okay, Nora, you have a question?
Just to follow on from that, we're happy to work with you around the hours, and we're happy to complete a sound exercise so long as we're given good sufficient notice for that. And I just wanted to again elaborate on the point that it's less about the core hours and more about the reduction of noise nuisance, or mitigating the risk of noise nuisance. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, now I think we have come toward the end of the hearing. Before we move on to private room to elaborate, I just want to sum up few things. There's been quite few confusing things on that, so I just want to clarify Number one, soundproofing, there is no question on that. You have, and you will be implementing if there is anything. No shisha, that is one of the condition. And a sound limiter, obviously you are implementing the noise pollution limitations. Not an issue on that. We can put that. The only thing I need to clarify is about the hours. Now, Sunday to Thursday, Matthews and the applicant, can we agree to hours before we go and see if we are going to grant or not? What hours can we agree? Sunday to Thursday, applicant, are we okay from 3 p.m. to 12?
12.
What did you say, 11?
12, Councillor, you said it 12, please. The thing is, practically, I don't want to say yes, and then it's a wedding, right? And if
whatever I say doesn't mean it's agreed. I'm just writing down what I'm going to go and discuss with the colleagues. So 3 p.m. to no sound. Yeah.
Sorry. No, please.
3
Sorry,
p.m.
I was just going to say we're happy with 12. If there isn't a special event on that might last beyond midnight, then I suppose 10. I don't know if you could,
always
for
temporary
example,
event,
apply for a 10 exactly. So that's another way around it.
Matthews, you are okay with 3 to 10?
11.
3 to 12, sorry.
3 p.m. till midnight. Yes.
Yeah, okay, that is, and the alcohol is 11?
So basically when it's up to you. Yeah.
It's not really Matt's remit, I think, alcohol.
Yes.
So
No, I'm asking what we are, agreeing.
what's the application? For 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, wasn't it? Yeah, 11 o'clock.
Always an hour. Alcohol was always an hour before the end of the entertainment. Like,
And the music,
12.
Okay.
Everybody out. 12.
And on Friday, Saturday?
Alcohol 1 o'clock.
Entertainment
and late night refreshment 2 o'clock. Everybody out by 2:30. This is what I agreed with Mr. James Bradshaw and the application and tens.
Yes, Matthews.
Yes, just a quick one. From the Sunday till Thursday, we agreed to operate until midnight. About the regulatory entertainment with the music, I believe that the live music shouldn't be played till the closing. This needs to be that at least 30 minutes allowed before the closing time.
So you are saying 11:30?
Yes.
Done for me. Done, because mostly it will be weddings. And
I think that helps, Matthias, because the only real sound is when the doors are open, both sets of doors open.
Well, I want to move on. So that's not an objection from your side either. So let's just move on to the next one. So Friday and Saturday.
Sorry, Chair. For my purposes of making the notes, Sunday to Thursday, what has been agreed from 3 p.m. to 11? Is that the operating hours? The opening
I'll
hours?
I'll tell you that Sunday to Thursday, Matthews and the applicant are both proposing 3 p.m. to 12 p.m. the opening hours. Alcohol will be served 1 hour before until 11 p.m.
Okay.
And entertainment and music will be until 11:30 p.m.
Okay.
Now, Friday to Saturday, the applicant is requesting for 2:30, but let me just agree to that. Matthews, the applicant is requesting Friday, Saturday, 2:30 closing, alcohol until 1 and music until 2.
Yes, it sounds. Yes, I agree on this timings.
Okay. Well, is there anything else I've missed, Alison?
Can we just clarify late night refreshment? What you're seeking for that? Are you seeking late night refreshment for Sunday to Thursday?
You are seeking till 2 p.m.
For late night refreshment.
Sorry, Sunday to Thursday, 11:30.
Yeah. So you'd like Eleanor for until that time. Is that right?
Are you asking me or Matthews?
I'm asking the applicant just to clarify what your late night refreshment requirements are.
So they have requested 3 to 12 is the opening hours.
Yep.
11 is the alcohol serving until
Yep.
11 p.m.
Mhm.
A
Yep.
late night refreshment and music until 11:30 p.m.
Okay, so that includes
Okay.
Eleanor, right? Okay.
Okay.
Is that
And then
correct,
the same-
applicant? And for Friday and Saturday, opening hours till 2:30, alcohol is served until 1 p.m. and late night refreshment and music and entertainment
Till
until
2.
2.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any other thing that I've missed? I'm asking anyone, apart from shisha, soundproofing, sound limiter, and obviously on the sound limiter and speaker direction, these are the things that you can always work with the department, noise and nuisance department, and you are not disputing anything. You are happy to cooperate. So I think that shouldn't be an issue. Yes, Matthews?
Yes, so just a quick question about the parking. So I understand that it's not going to be a point on the licensing, one of the licensing objective, or?
There is no contract on the parking, and this is something we will have to discuss when we go in private.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, and the starting time is 3 p.m. Every day, even Saturday, Sunday as well. That's what we are going to discuss about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councillor, regarding that question on the parking, we will supply contract evidence from his neighbours that they are giving permission for him to use their parking areas. We will supply that.
Okay.
If we'd known, we'd have had it previously. And as you can see, we're not slow at putting things in front of you, but we weren't aware that that was going to be such an issue. So Akram has said to me that he will contact his neighbours and ask them to put something in writing to him to say that he does have their permission to use that.
Okay, so you will supply that. Yeah.
Yes. Supply that. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Chair, I don't know if you want to allow the parties to sum up specifically, or if they're fine with that. In which case, the representation,
Alison, is there still need to sum up?
If the parties wish to do so, then obviously that's open to them. Otherwise,
parties, do you want to sum it up, or you are okay with that, and we'll leave to elaborate?
Councillor, I think you've done a great job summing it up yourself. But if there is, just to clarify, because there's been obviously a lot discussed, the application was put before you with the hours.
Okay, then let me just ask, sorry, who is summing up first? Cornelia, is it
those who made the representation? So Matthews.
So Matthews, can you sum up in just few words, just as a formality to close it, to wind it up?
No, and then after Matthews, then no, and the applicant.
No, applicant is first or Matthews is first?
Matthews is first.
Yeah, so Matthews, if you can just say a few words to the formality, please, to sum it up.
Of course. So from our perspective, we would like to, we would agree for the operational hours from Sunday till Thursday from 3 p.m. until midnight, with the alcohol served until 11 p.m. and the regulated entertainment until 11:30. And on Friday, Saturday, to operate from 3 p.m. until 2:30. Yes. Yeah. With the supply of alcohol until 1 o'clock. Thank you very much for a reminder. And regulated entertainment, including the live music, till 2 o'clock. Yes. Plus, as additional points on the licensing premises, we would also ask for the noise to not be audible at the sensitive locations, such as, for example, hotels, etc. Obviously, we are open and we are happy to cooperate with the elite to perform the sound exercise. To find out whether the music is going to be audible from that strategic point. And also our expectations is, let me just bring my notes, to robust controls over loud amplified music, effective management of the patrons to avoid any disorder, nuisance, environmental issues, which is already covered. And lastly, to be mindful and social responsibility as a business.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Applicant, you can sum it up if you wish so.
Thank you, Councillor. Just very, very quickly, without repeating everything. Obviously, we came before you today primarily because of historic issues. For antisocial behaviour, and I know that Park Royal has huge problems, and Matthias's job is very difficult when he's trying to deal with unlicensed, unregulated venues that are operating till 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, and all the issues that we've discussed today: parking, drug paraphernalia, noise, crowding, overcrowding, shisha, and everything. And the problem for us was trying to impress upon you as a committee that that is not what Elite is about, and hopefully somehow today we've crossed that line. We have done so with the police through lots of negotiations, sitting down, and they visited the venue many times, helped us with the conditions, and they have not been here and made any representation regarding any form of antisocial behaviour or anything. I hope that through today, with the consultation that we've had today with Matthias, that with certain conditions that are workable, it's no point us, Councillor, agreeing to conditions that we won't, we'll be back in front of you in 2 months' time under review, which we obviously wouldn't want. So the conditions that have been put together sound extremely reasonable. The parking, is always a very difficult one, because unless you go up to somebody and say, is that your car and which venue are you going to? Who do you know whose car it is? However, as we've already said, we will be supplying you with written documentation that shows we have at least 50 available parking spaces. So the parking issue is out of the way. The sound limiter is fitted, and Matthias, it might be important for Matthias and his team to come along and do their own sound test and suggest whether the bass levels are too low or whatever it may be, because I noticed in his representation it was bass levels that were more audible. And maybe the bass is too high and we need to lower that down. So that is something we can work with the noise control team to try and get right. And, I'd like to say that if and when Elite gets its house in order regarding these small things, I think they will become a jewel in the crown in the area of Park Royal. And it's something you can hold up to other businesses and say, this is what can be achieved if you work with us, which is what we want to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, we will go in private, deliberate, and come up with the decision. But having said that, if the committee is minded to grant the license, bear in mind, this is not the end, this is the beginning. We may be sitting here in a few months' time and revoking the license. So it's not something that we are talking today and just that's the end of the chapter. This is the start. If we grant the license and things are not abide by, then it can be revoked as well. So let's see how it goes. Thank you very much. Now, Cornelia, how do you want to do? We are going to go in private. How do you want to call them, and what do you want to do? Put them in a different room, or can you tell us now?
Yes, I can put them in the waiting room. Chair, perhaps we can give them an estimated time for them to come back.
Well,
Maybe
it's
1:30.
Sorry?
Maybe
1:30?
1:30.
Yeah, 1:30. If we finish earlier, we can call them earlier.
Okay.
But let's say 1:30.
We'll keep our screen open anyway, Cornelia. So
Yeah.
as soon as you call us back, we're here.
Alison, is
Okay.
there anything that I've missed so far, or shall we are ready to
No,
move?
no, Chair. I think that's all fine.
Thank you.
So I'll put the agent and the applicant and Nora and Machus in the waiting room.
Yes,
now.
please.
And I'll stop the stream as well.
Yeah,
for now.
thank you.